I originally was going to do an analyst on the disses that have been going on between Jonah Lucas and Tory Lanez, but honestly, I could give half a fuck about, you know, the disses that have been going around. I mean, don't get it wrong. I really do like Jonah Lucas. Uh, I can give half a shit about Tory Lanez. I'm not even going to sugarcoat it. And I know what y'all are probably thinking. Well, he's a Six Seconds fan. He's part of the fandom, and he's automatically going to say that Tory Lanez sucks because he's a Six Seconds fan. Well, actually, you know, from actually, actually wanting to go listen to his music, I kind of find it average, and I really don't care for Tory Lanez. I mean, he's not bad, but it's just I don't give a shit about him. I don't give a shit about his music, and I really don't give a shit about this beef because it's like really minuscule. I don't see any point of covering it. Like, honestly, from hearing both of them, I mean, they were swell disses, but to be honest, some shit sounded so fucking similar that's hard to actually want to break them apart bit by bit to actually explain it. So there's more so reason why I probably didn't get into it because A, yeah, I didn't give a fuck. B, it's Tory Lanez, so I don't give a fuck. And B, they sound really similar, so what's the point of even breaking them down? So yeah, that's pretty much the reason why I haven't really been invested, amongst other things like having to deal with my life. It's probably the reason why I'm kind of late reviewing RWBY. This video is for me reviewing the past two episodes of RWBY that I saw and I didn't discuss and review right on the nose because, like, again, I'm busy with my life. I got things in my life to take care of, to do. Um. So anyway, I pretty much found episode 4 how it opened up. Episode 4, I liked how it opened up to more so. It discusses more about how they feel about Osmond after pretty much being fucking tricked and duped by him and whatnot. And actually, it's pretty much one of the first times in RWBY where you actually see like Osmond just being a rock stuck between a hard place, and he literally had nowhere else to fucking go. Like, he was literally breaking down in tears. He was pleading for people not to abandon him, which is probably one of the many pinnacles of Osmond's sorrow, abandoned, and and whatnot. And then he was just so just depressed. He was so put. He was just put into a state of complete anguish that he just completely just locked himself within Oscar's mind, which I kind of felt was like really intense and really like yeah, this shit got me pumped, like, oh fuck, like, oh, what's about to happen next? He's being pushed up to the tree, he's in tears, he's pleading for redemption, and then like that it's just put right into Oscar's mind. So yeah, I liked how it opened up on that part. uh I made sure I had to like see these Jones like twice, so I can be fair with them. I wasn't seem to leave shit out and whatnot. I kind of felt the constant arguing, the constant quarrel between Maria and Yang. I kind of found it like it was just pretty pointless. Well, mostly on Yang's part. Marie was actually just, a defenseless old lady who just being bombarded by Yang's insults and shit and whatnot. Uh, it was just seemed like just old cat fight, and that's a lot come from Maria because Maria's pretty much one of the most level-headed characters that we see so far. It's a shame that she's gonna, be pretty fucking pointless and like the next volume to come or something. Just like most RWBY characters, just become fucking pointless. I wish they actually pretty much in the future they have more space, they introduce more background characters like the ones we've seen in Volume 3. So I don't know. There's a shitty relationship with that character, I guess. Yeah, I mean, shit. It's what I was eating the whole time. But no, seriously. Um, yeah, yeah. There's nothing. I'm sorry. That episode probably just. Hold on. I'm trying to like grasp on how you know how I'm supposed to break this down. How I'm supposed to save this. Like, I get it's all in my head. It just seems like the route of how the show is going from this volume in particular. It's like kind of, I wouldn't rather say getting slower, but it is reaching a stump, I would say, but not in a bad way. It's just reaching a different turning point. Yeah, that's what I'm looking for. It's reaching a turning point, volume 6. Um, and then and then they break away to this other part where they more or less see all the Salem's fraction, pretty much retreating back to the Grim Wasteland, I guess. Never really said what that place was, or well, they did. It's the land, the God's land of darkness, or whatever. But yeah, um, and they was getting back from the defeat and whatnot and shit, and then Tyrion, being Tyrion, who for some reason it's just back in the show a character that really actually didn't have any impact to the show to begin with. He was just a mindless hitman from Salem and whatnot. And honestly, I feel like the whole crazy, sadistic, grotesque henchman stereotype is pretty much done to fucking death. So I really could give half a shit about Tyrion as a character. And I saw him again, I'm like, who gives a fuck? Uh, and he was teasing on how Cinder probably died and how she got fucking put on a shirt by Raven and whatnot and all that. And Emerald was about to fuck his shit up, or he probably was gonna fuck that shit up. Which was that funny little theory people been going around. People might have said that Tyrion tried to rape Emerald or some shit like that because they saw the trailer him sneaking up on him, that dumbass grin on his face. So yeah, that's one thing that been flying around when the trailer came out. But the whole time he was just, easing up on her, teasing her, poking fun at her and shit. So that's pretty much what it laid up to. So your little Rule 34 will only exist on Rule 34 and not in RWBY. I'm sorry, y'all. It just won't happen. Probably not today. Probably not now. But it just won't happen. But there's this website called Rule 34 where that 10 out of 10 may be possible, but not in RWBY. Nah. And then they go to Salem, and she's fucking pissed because she lost the relic of knowledge. I think with the blue bitch. I think I kind of forgot. Bone 5 was a drag, and honestly, sometimes I kind of honestly be forgetting where they're going. Like I know they're going to Atlas, but sometimes I'm just kind of discombobulated with their really mixed up, plot. It's just kind of becomes really lumpy, and sometimes I don't know what the fuck be happening. Like, some things are certain, some things are uncertain, some things are just totally go over your head. So honestly, I kind of sometimes it kind of slips out my head. Um, and apparently, apparently, uh, apparently, shit, lost like shit. mm. Apparently, she scolds the fraction from losing, and the first person she scolds is the masculine giant, broad, real actually guy manly man character Hazel, and Salem being a domineering bitch, she only seems to scold him for some reason. I mean, aside from everyone else, she only seems to attack him. She wraps him in her little grim arms and whatnot and shit. So for some reason, had a just weird bone to pick with Hazel for some reason. Although it kind of looked like she was scolding everybody, but mostly had it out for Hazel because he failed to get it. But they all pretty much had the same mission to go and get it from her. But yet he seemed to be the target for her frustration, so she puts it all on him and only him for some reason. So I don't know what's her big thing about what's her thing about Hazel that she only has for them, despite all of them failing to get the relic of knowledge. So I really actually don't. I was actually kind of like really had a lot of questions like why only Hazel? Why did he? Why did he deserve to hate? Like, come on, he's only um and I kind of also felt it was funny how Salem literally said, "Oh no, Cinder ain't dead, y'all, no, but I'll leave that bitch out in the street for her to redeem herself and whatnot." And she gets fucking pissed, and everyone fucking left because she almost fucking destroyed her whole throne when she forgot Ospen is pretty much winning their fight against humanity or for humanity or whatever, and then it just ends there. I think. I don't know. Do I look like a critic to you? Anyway, but no, seriously. I'm gonna have to give this episode a. Oh no, actually, I fucking like this episode. I'm gonna give it exceptional. I was thinking about giving it an adequate. I don't know. I was thinking, no, it was actually really good. It's just, it's just. I still just don't understand what from all of them because she was scolding him. Why she only had it out for Hazel? Like, I guess that she had it because he was probably leading them there. Probably that's just one of my guesses, or just for the sake of narrative reasons. I'm not really sure. It just really it raised my eyebrows when she was only putting out all of her frustration on him and whatnot. In episode 5, pretty much fucking opens up with Cinder going back to Little Miss Melichoit. I'm probably butchering her name. Little Miss M. Okay, Little Miss M. Or Purple Spider Bitch. But I'm not a. I'm not here for that. Just Little Miss Melichot. It opens up with Cinder going to Little Miss Melichot saying, "Hey, did you get Ruby yet?" And she's like, "I'll get that shit when I get it, bitch. I'll get your ass out my fucking bar." But no, it pretty much opened up with a fight against Neo, which again I just found it just pointless fan service. Like literally no joke. The episode fucking opened up with her discussing the deal with Lil Miss M, and then suddenly, hey, look, it's fucking Neo on the support beat of the bar, and they just start fucking throwing hands, and then they just throw it, and during their fight, she says, put away the good glasses." So that pretty much might lead to something. And one of my guesses about it is probably Lil Miss M probably put Neo up to it, or Neo's probably worked for Little Miss M, or something. So yeah, that quote alone, that little quote she was talking to her man, that actually leads to a lot of notions. I would say a lot of guesses, a lot of hypotheses, and whatnot. And then they fucking fight, and Little Miss M was like, I do like a good fight during my show, but can y'all take it outside? And then literally in the next scene, like literally in the next scene for a split second, they fucking take it outside. Neo fucking kicks Cinder out the window and they start throwing hands again. And then, Cinder was kind of getting her ass beat, and then she went and fall maiden, and she had this little 2D cyclone going around her, despite being a fully 3D rendered character. And they made a deal about we both share a common enemy, so let's go take out Ruby. And she made this little joke that everyone seems to be keep talking about on YouTube about her making her death joke and whatnot. And it was just whatever. Like I mean, I'm not saying Cinder can't be humorous, but it's shit. Okay, Cinder, she can be humorous, but I just feel like it was probably just put in the wrong. It was put in the wrong spot. Like they're talking about you know finally killing Ruby and whatnot, but um it's just that comedy there. It just kind of got in the way of the moment of the tone and whatnot, the mood of it. Just like how Bleach be putting in their little jokes between during before these or after these big fights. That's pretty much what that was. It kind of interrupted the flow of that Pacific moment for a while. And actually, going back to the whole 2D cyclone thing, this episode kind of has a habit of, although everything else is 3D, the foreground, hell, the characters themselves, like said elements or objects would still be like fully 2D 2D objects in the back or in the front. And I'm including that part on saying this is probably Cinder's personal arc. I think they're pretty much giving Cinder her own personal arc. And from what Salem said earlier, she's probably redeeming herself before she can go back, or probably knowing Cinder, she's going to go rogue, or probably knowing Salem, she's not going to allow her to go around with one of the fall maidens, or like I said when my previous video, her shoulda coulda be a daughter, because honestly, I kind of think the season maidens are Salem and Ospin's kids. That's just a guess. It just looked at really reminiscent in their little story in episode 3. Yeah, episode 3. So yeah, that just may lead to a lot of questions. I'm just saying. So yeah, I don't know. I'm just saying on that part. So yeah, just saying Cinder is pretty much going to have her own redeeming arc in this saga. And then pretty much half of the episode pretty much focuses around Team RWBY, and they stumble into this strange village where everyone is fucking rotten corpses in the bed, and they try to keep warm and whatnot, and pretty much nothing happens really in their little segment aside from uh, Blake and Yang, talking about shit and whatnot, about what's going on, and how they still have trauma from Adam. Although Yang's trauma saga, pretty much a trauma arc or saga, is pretty much dead and done in Volume 4. So, and Volume 5 is supposed to, it's a transition from her trauma to being a new woman and being more prepared and whatnot. So I feel like there was a lot of plot recycling, I would say, in that specific moment. Like, she's still suffering trauma from him. Like, I mean, yeah, I get it, cut off her arm, but Rooster Teeth, they already written out her arc and how she was going to get over it in the previous volume, in Volume 4. So I don't know, they're still running with it with her arc up until this volume, or she's probably just still got a little nicks here and there. So I don't know. That leaves a lot. I'm not sure about it, and I know like thousands of Blake X Yang fanboys were fucking ejaculating when they saw them just fucking holding hands together and shit. You know who has hands? The devil. You know what he uses for? Holding things. But seriously though, I'm just saying, every time those two characters are together, I can literally just fucking hear the echoing moans of thousands of Blake X Yang fans from miles and miles away and shit. You know what I'm saying? And then it transitioned with Weiss and Ruby scavenging for food and blankets and whatever to keep warm with. And Ruby in general, although for a long time they never had a lot of anime gags or anime comedy gags here and there, but in that specific moment when she found the beans, I guess they just found it appropriate to just throw in another anime comedy gag in the middle of it when she found it. When she was fast, she got the beans. So I guess they just wanted to add that in. I don't know, that might deal with some tone issues because volume 4 through 6 is pretty much like vastly written different from the previous over 3. So I don't know where to take that or where y'all can take that. I don't know. It's something, or we could say Monty Ruby. That's what we call volume 1 to 3. But that's just being nitpick. And then they fucking leave, and then the basement cellar started rumbling, and then it cuts off, and that can only lead to whatever's was in that basement was probably responsible for the deaths of all those people in the village. Like, it could be fucking anything. It's just shock value, maybe, or maybe could be nothing. We never know until we see it. I'm gonna have to give this one a. I'm gonna have to give this one an exceptional, shifting a little downwards into adequate, because although how good and pretty much how good this episode was, I just feel like there was just I feel like the Neo fan surface was just like really fucking pointless. Like, and it was just really put in this episode, especially in the introductory, just like really random. It's just really shoddy. It was just, hey, look, Neo's still here, y'all. Fucking still watch Ruby. Don't give us shitty reviews. Kind of like this one that's not exactly completely positive and whatnot. So yeah, it was good. I just feel like, the shock value or the pointless fan service, and like towards the end when the attic was rumbling, just only add up to more surprises or something that probably has nothing to do with the main story, and 10 out of 10 probably doesn't. I just feel like those kind of got in the way of it actually telling the narrative by itself. There was too many cutaway shit, too many cutaway stories, too many cutaway moments in the episode that kind of made me kind of almost lost focus on the general narrative, the general story of this specific episode. Well, that's all I gotta say. That's pretty much all I gotta say about them. I meant to do them later, as soon as they came out, like I said earlier. But again, like I'm saying, I gotta, kind of have time for my life sometimes. And like it or not, although y'all like fucking adore and cherish these magnificent reviews I make that I only get like 1 penny for in my revenue and whatnot, I kind of have to have time for myself sometimes. Like, that's kind of, what we adults kind of go through. We kind of, need to do things in a specific time, and sometimes we kind of need, some time to ourselves, such as Mua and whatnot. So yeah, give your likes, subscribe to the channel if you like these quickie reviews and whatnot around here, and I'm not Unicorn of War. I'm not Adele Aka. I'm not Meteorocracy 4. That is even still makes Ruby rants. I'm not Muffin Man Dan or Celtic Phoenix Productions or Six Slick Productions or Fat Man Falling or Adele Aka. I'm not those big time Ruby critics. So, uh, so if I like, not calmly make videos like these, then you probably know why. Because I'm barely even on the same precipice as those guys, which is not a bad thing. I'm just not those big time Ruby reviewers, Ruby critics like them. Oh, they also mentioned Murder Birds, by the way. Yeah, I'm not on their level, but I still feel like, if I just simply have an opinion like everyone else, I should address it just like anyone else. That's the reason why I made these in the first place and whatnot. My Deviant-art Gallery. I just wanted to get that out of the way so y'all can be crystal clear on pretty much how I feel about that specific subject. Uh, my DeviantArt gallery is in the link is in the link below. So y'all go to that. Please tell me how y'all feel. My little projects that I've been working on is out on there. Tell me how y'all feel about it. Y'all may have laughs for them. Y'all may hate them. Y'all may have good critiques about them. Y'all may not. Y'all may have bad critiques about them. Just generally, just tell me how y'all feel about them, man. I just really do love feedback, and I feel like I actually did put a lot of TLC into it and whatnot. Uh, I'll be around for more shit. Like I think about making like some videos back to back somewhere this night around 8:26. I'm looking at my fucking computer at the time. So yeah, like always, man, the Ad Assume is watching y'all.